actually, it's Levi and I who are responsible for the design and art, for the design and the art direction. And what I'll be talking about is WPF, the Windows Presentation Foundation, an expression blend. Now, usually when you're creating the look and feel of an application, there's this sort of rift between the designer and the developer. Because I envision that it has to look this way. But when it comes to actually implementing the application, I have to ask Will, can you make it do this? Can you make it look like this? And in the case of our game, if you have a startup screen that looks like this, you know, he'd kill me if I tell him, oh, I want it to fade in, I want it to slide in like that, and all of that. And in fact, you know, it would be hard to actually explain it. So in case you didn't see that again, you know, you have a fade, to zoom in, a scroll, and then you actually have blurring out, and that would be hard to explain to him in words. You know, I want it to fade and move like this. So what I can actually do in WPF and Expression Blend is that I can draw the application the same way I would in Illustrator or After Effects or Adobe Flash. I mean, it just works the same way. And in fact, I can even animate it from here. I have keyframes and all the usual animation tools found in other design applications. So in this sense, it's like I'm designing the look, but at the same time, it actually spits out actual code. So all he has to do is integrate the XAML within his Visual Studio project, and you've got the interface. You didn't have to implement anything. And so that's how, what's this? WPF and Expression Blend bridges the gap between the designer and the developer. But that's not everything that needs to be done. There are also other assets such as the 3D models, the sound files, you know, the pictures, the textures, and of course even videos. And so it would be hard for him to integrate this without this one great thing in XNA, this thing that brings all of them together. And that's called the XNA Content Pipeline. And of course, who better to talk about it than Will?
Okay, now when we make a game, we have these assets. These assets are basically what you see in the game. That's the images, that's what Philip has said. Now when we make a game, usually you have to write the loading code by yourself from scratch. So we have to write the code for loading a PNG file, another code for loading a WAV file, and make sure they actually correspond to the native format of the API that you use. For example, in DirectX, you need to be able to load a PNG into the texture format that is in A8R.